That's
Welcome
good, man.
to Mania Live. For the United States, it's still daytime. For London, it's evening.
Evening.
Is it dark there yet? It's getting pretty dark early already.
It's always dark here.
dark and gloomy.
Yeah.
Well, I have After Smoke Clears. Well, part of them this today, and this is I guess a reschedule from yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. My days are all confused for some reason, but so welcome in, guys. Nice to have you on the show.
Cheers.
Thanks. Nice to be here.
And now, Nick, you took over a hotel conference room, correct?
Yeah.
We're not going to say where you're at because you might get in trouble. That's all. That's so cool. That's a nice setup. I bet you that's an expensive room to rent.
Yeah, probably.
I know.
So I put it on the expense.
You guys just had a show. We were just talking last weekend with the Confessions of a Traitor that I had on last week or a week before or something like that.
Yeah, man, it was good fun.
How did that go?
It was like our first show in 18 months, and we played it at like a venue called the Black Heart, which was a venue which we have interesting history with. And we finally got to play a show there, and it was just better than we could have ever expected. Like, loads of people turned out, and like some of our real like strongest fans, like most passionate fans, came along, and we got to meet them for the first time in person, which was amazing. And just amazing to like hang out with old friends and new friends, and to get that buzz back again. So it was an absolutely joyous occasion for sure.
Did you get to play like is your EP, is that new or is that new for everybody to hear live, basically?
Yeah,
pretty
much. Yeah, the first time we've got to play that most of those songs live in their kind of final form. We did get to, like, in the last shows we played before lockdown, I think we played it just after we recorded, so it was still quite fresh, but nothing had been released at that point.
Yeah. Now Obsessed was the last one that was released, right?
Yeah.
Or is that the newest one? How was that one? I think I saw some people commenting on Instagram. Are you excited to play it? And so was it perfect? Did you play it perfect?
Don't know about
that. Actually, no. I think we did. To be fair, it's probably one of the most like adventurous songs we've got in terms of like composition and like polyrhythms and progression. We never really played it live to anyone in front of we're just by ourselves, and we're kind of a bit like, are we going to be able to pull this off? Will it work in a live setting? Because it's the complication of it.
Yeah,
but I think we did it, and the mix was good. The sound engineer on the night was good, and it just came off. Yeah, definitely. Very professional this time. We've had some good experiences and some not so good experiences with sound engineers.
Give me a good story, a good bad experience somewhere. You don't have to mention names or anything, but just something that was you couldn't just get past it. Anything like that.
I mean, generally the worst experience is when they don't show up. or they show up late and rush it. And I think this is something that maybe is like a musician thing, like just the changeover, when someone's changing off stage, and it's like you've got like 10 minutes to set up all your kit, and it's just such a stressful time, and just being in that environment is just so stressful, and the sound engineers is going like, you can see him up there like, hurry up. But I think Nick's experience with sound engineers is more like constantly asking for more vocals in the monitors, and
what are your
and they're like, we've got there's no more left to give.
What are the instruments that you guys play in the band?
So Aaron is the bass player, Ali is the guitar player, and Dave is the drummer, and I'm the vocalist. So that's the split.
Aaron, are you the one with the long hair in the picture?
Depends on which picture you're looking at. Ali's got longer hair than me.
Okay, yeah, all right.
He did have you're catching him up now because Ali had a haircut.
A lot more in your face than he's got a skinnier face.
Yeah.
I was trying to find Joel's email in here. It's gone. Somebody took it. It's not in there.
The email.
The email maybe you didn't send me an email. Did you not send me I don't know. I don't know. I was I've been doing this earlier and earlier every time, but playing the music of who I have on. So I want to go ahead and play a song so people can kind of hear your sound.
Cool, man.
We got a big. Let's see. I was thinking we'd save "Obsessed" for later. You know what I mean?
Cool.
Since it's a newer song. How about "The Vine"? You want to do that one first?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
You want to tell the folks a little bit about that? What it's about and when it was written?
Yeah. So the Vine is a like the first single we released off Edification, and yeah, the song is about a shamanic brew in the South American jungle called ayahuasca, and it's all about my experience with taking that, having that experience a few years ago. Yeah, it's just like a psychedelic kind of account,
like
really.
Tea? Like a tea kind of.
Yeah, it's like a brew, and it tastes horrible, but then it gives you some pretty incredible experiences. So yeah, definitely
So it's kind of
felt
like mushrooms. Like you take mushrooms or something.
it's like mushrooms on steroids. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Like
The mushrooms
100
took mushrooms.
Did you go
Yeah,
there just to
it's-
do that?
Yeah. Well, the main reason, yeah, we went to Peru for like nearly a month, and we were there for I think 7 days in the Amazon. So yeah.
Did you have like nightmares about it afterwards?
No. It was a overall very positive experience. And yeah, very almost I'd say life changing, really. Like very insightful.
Spiritual.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I've
that's
never
what
done
it's
any
about. Yeah.
psychedelics, so I don't know, but you know.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing you should only do it if you should never do them if you don't have that enthusiasm to do it, because that's when it can go really wrong. So
Right.
yeah, it's that's what the song's about, and it's first one we released of Edification, and it's a song that I'd say it's like a fan favorite. People always want to hear it live, and like it's a solid track. So yeah, I think we're all pretty proud of the song, and yeah, well, let's give it a listen.
Yeah, let's hear it. This is The Vine by After Smoke Clears.
Transportation episodes, the
fantastic. Yeah, I remember listening to that one. Now it's that would definitely get everybody fired up at a show.
Definitely, man.
You try to wait for the end, like fit that towards the end, or is that
No, first in the set, man.
Yeah, we opened with that.
Yeah.
That's sick. I was looking back on our chats that we've had, and you said you put out a lot of videos this year. Is that one of them that you had a video to?
Yeah, that was the first one. So that was probably March 2020. We released a video with that. We did that with Sean from Loki Films, who's a really well-known DP in this scene in the UK. Lots of big bands have been filmed by him that you might know of, like Hacktivist and like tons of huge guys. And he's such a really genuine, down-to-earth guy. And we put him through the ringer with this shoot. Nick and his girlfriend used to did a screenplay for the whole screenplay, I guess you could say, for the whole video, and then kind of like really meticulously put all the pieces together like on a storyboard. And that there were so many bits because it's shot like in London, lots of bits in London, and I think they were spending like a whole day out there shooting bits and pieces and kind of making this vision come true. And then we shot the band side, the performance side, but it's shooting a music video. You have to be very careful about location because you make a lot of noise, but you don't want it to just look like you're in a studio somewhere.
Were you actually playing?
Well, the drum, you can't make the drums, you can't fake drums, and that's where the noise is. And to be able to play the drums kind of in time, you will often need a big speaker or a big PA to kind of be shooting the song at the drummer. So we can hear it. So Nick had this mad idea. Sorry, I'm telling this story. I'm telling Nick's stories right here. But he had this mad idea of like, let's go into the forest, right? Like that's, it reflects the song. And so, yeah, we'll find this like really isolated bit of forest. And so we had to cut all our gear up. It had like just rained or something. So it was like muddy. We brought everything like, it must have been almost like a kilometer or something mad, huge.
You walking with
distance.
Everything?
Yeah, walking with everything. So we had to go back and forward to the car. Sean's carrying his camera gear. They're carrying like a speaker for the PA. He's carrying a generator to power the PA. And so we finally get it all there. And they're like, it could rain. All right, we'll go through it anyway. Set everything up. And then we just had to blast this like metal music in this really serene forest in the middle of kind of nowhere. And it was very, very lucky that one of Nick's friends was actually the ranger for the area. And like halfway through filming, you see this person like running towards us. And we're like, oh man, we're going to get busted here. But it was his mate. It was his mate that came in and said, you can hear this sound all the way from the outside of the park. Like,
well, that's good. Like, that's a good thing. That's
kilometers and kilometers away. Oh, what a day.
Did it rain?
But it sprinkled a bit, but
slightly,
it wasn't
very refreshing though.
it was fine in the end. But
it was definitely
any
high
Jeeps back
risk.
there to just drive a Jeep back in there and with all your equipment?
It wouldn't have worked because it was like down and up a hill and like it would have been barried off and stuff. So
you didn't get in trouble though. You got to do it, and I mean, you could have called the song like "The Building," and then that would have been perfect because all you had to do was go find a building.
Yeah, that's it.
And had to go through the woods. But
it was certainly very risky. Like retrospectively, at the time I didn't really realize, but there's a lot that could have gone wrong for sure.
How long did it take to actually do the whole thing with all your stuff out there and jamming?
This is the thing, like with that kind of seat with the band shots, there's a lot of preparation, but actually the actual shooting couldn't have been more than half an hour. The actual like band shots, but once you set up, it's actually quite quick, and we had to be quick because obviously we were mindful about the noise.
It wasn't illegal, was it? Like being there?
Oh, completely, yeah, completely illegal. Yeah, it made it fun, really. But Aaron and Ali were not really.
Well, Ali he just broken his foot not long beforehand.
Yeah,
and so he only just got off like crutches or whatever, and
his foot?
Yeah.
Oh, so he's well though. He's better.
He was like struggling to get through the mud and carry all this stuff, and it was like across like a stream and up a hill, and then like into the.
There wasn't any better, like more accessible locations to do this.
This was the place. This was the good place.
It had a good magic about it.
Yeah,
it was intense, but it made it feel like a really exciting day.
Yeah,
sounds
a really long day as well because like Nick said, like the actual filming is really short, but it's the setup
Is the production part? Is that just like the cameraman, or does he have like a bunch of assistants?
No, just him.
I'm thinking of like a movie set. I know it's probably not even like that. But,
yeah.
You know,
think of the opposite of that.
With the thing with the clap, at the beginning and all that, But that's
it was just Sean. So we've done other videos where we've had like more than one person, but most of our more recent videos are with 2 people. But yeah, just with Sean, it's just literally just Sean, and he does it all. So
did you guys have to do the like put a green screen up in your house like the Confessions guys did and do it all separate? That's amazing. I've never even heard of that. Like how they had to shoot it all separately.
Yeah, we've never done that. We've been fortunate enough because I think those guys live a bit further away. We're all fortunate. We all live pretty close.
That's what I was going to ask you, if you guys are closer.
So yeah, we've always kind of done video shoots.
Are you guys all in London?
Location.
Like
yeah,
I know London's a big place.
Yeah, we're all
like
in
6
London.
Airports, 6 international airports. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's the scale of the place is pretty overwhelming at times. But
I do have a friend that lives over there. His dad was a preacher, and he came over here for a year and was a preacher at our church. And he was my age, so he went to school with me for a year. But they went back, and he lives over there now. I don't know where, somewhere, Plastow or something. He used to live in.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't. That's probably not how you say it, but
sounds somewhat familiar.
Yeah. And then his sister lives down. She said like a resort town. Starts with a B. I think it's a B. Down by the coast or something. I don't know.
Brighton. Maybe?
What is it?
Brighton.
No, it's not Brighton.
Bournemouth.
I'd have to. Huh?
Bournemouth.
Yes, that's the one. Yes.
Okay. We've played.
Yeah, we played a show there.
Is it really a resort town, or was she just saying that?
No.
No one call it that.
Celebrity.
It's a coastal town.
Yeah, definitely not resort
which
town.
I guess is always nice, but it's not not that great. Okay.
I wouldn't say it's not a place that people flock to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Brighton is absolutely, but not really.
I think I've heard of Brighton. That's kind of popular, isn't it?
Yeah,
Brighton is like London's smaller cousin by the sea. You know what I mean? That's lots
like
of similarities.
Area where people go if you're.
Extremely touristy and like lots of things in common with London, like the way.
No, is the London Bridge? I guess the London Bridge is falling down. That song. I don't know if you guys know that nursery rhyme or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a big attraction? Like is Big Ben a big attraction? Like just how everything's commercialized. Like what I know of London is Big Ben and the bridge and the fog. And I guess the fog's really not that big a deal, is it?
Well, the bridge. The thing about the bridge is that London Bridge, the official London Bridge, is not the one you think it is. That's called Tower Bridge.
Yeah,
the one that's.
I remember that now. Yeah.
Yeah, and London Bridge is just a fucking boring bridge. That's like just a bridge. It goes from like Borough Markets and across the Thames and goes into town. It doesn't look nice. It's not impressive at all.
You would think that they would like paint it or something, to live up to the hype of the song.
I think it's just a funny thing though. People in London are like, people not from London wouldn't think that. I mean, I moved here like 6 years ago and I thought the same thing. I was like, wait, you don't call it that? What is this? And it was like, it's Tower Bridge, you idiot. I'm like, oh, okay, fine.
They got to change the song or the bridge or something. Something has to change. Sounds like. You guys should write a song about the London Bridge or the Tower Bridge or whatever.
We could do like a metal cover of London Bridge is falling down.
That would be
with
badass.
Like brutal vocals or something.
Yeah.
I'd vote for that. But it would have to be awesome. It would have to be.
Yeah.
So is there fog, or is that just a myth?
I mean,
London fog.
I think that's just a thing that happens in places. I don't know if there's any particular
fog happens everywhere, really. I mean,
yeah, I was going to say.
I wouldn't say London's known for its fog, really. Like it's
what is it known for? You guys, for one thing, Confessions of a Traitor, we know that.
Yeah, what is London known for? I mean, I don't know. It's a good question.
It's got to be completely different than what the Americans think or people from other countries think it is.
I think the main thing that jumps out to me is like, obviously in the US you've got a number of huge cities, and obviously ridiculous to compare a country the size of the US compared to the UK, but like the main thing is that like there's not really anything. There's no other city that even comes close to London in terms of it's orders of magnitude bigger than any other place.
Now there's boroughs, like what do they call them? Like in different parts of the city.
Yeah, so, I mean, boroughs,
London is basically exactly like it's a collection of like any city, but again, emphasized with London, it's just a collection of like towns, really.
Are there bad neighborhoods like Hood?
Yeah,
Hood. Have you guys?
I say, I mean that like there are
I
a
think
lot.
London's designed in a way like there's good and bad in like in all of the boroughs. Like you've got really rich and posh parts next to sort of the council estates, and then the kind of the more older, lower income kind of areas. And it was a real big push to kind of keep those communities together, so that start creating kind of like ghettos where you've got like one group of people here, one group of people there. Obviously some towns have like a reputation, like Camden has a reputation for being like rough and where all the punks are, and like Brixton, where I live, is like got a reputation because it's like in the south. And then but I think where we rehearsed in Bethnal Green, which is in the east, has had a pretty bad rep. Ali's had our guitarist has had a pretty rough time there, but it's good and bad everywhere. I think it's just you're in opinion, your own group.
The guys I had on from Rio, they down Brazil. I guess the crime's really bad there. It doesn't matter where you are. You just got to know where not to go. Like, I mean, I was reading about it on the website, the Brazil website, and don't go by, don't go. But I mean, who's going to go into a back alley if you don't know where you're at anyway? I mean, I guess some people would, but he said he's been robbed like 20 times.
Shit.
Yeah, I mean,
and he's
London
from there. And I guess if you look like a tourist, you're probably going to get taken advantage of. But he lives there, and he obviously doesn't look like a tourist. And he said it's just, I mean, he's got his iPhone stolen and his money and at gunpoint. Drawing a bit.
I mean, like compared to there, like London, there are the areas of London which are relatively rough, but like compared to that, London is a very safe city. Like you're not going to be robbed at gunpoint really anywhere in London. Like that's
unless you go to the dark back alley that you're not supposed to go, right? Even
then, I don't think you probably have to act like a complete dick to end up like you act like a complete idiot really to.
Or just
actually, I've got a story of where I got robbed once. So I used to be a freelancer, so I used to go all around London, like selling websites basically. And I once found a new client who was in East London, in like East Ham, which is a pretty rough area.
It's a good for like soccer or football, I guess.
Yeah, very close to West Ham, which is like a very famous football
United,
club.
right?
Yeah. So I was there, and I had like very expensive Bose headphones on, and was a bit naive at the time. It was like 3 years ago. I was still quite new to London, and like didn't really know, wasn't really that aware of where I was, and I was just kind of walking around the area before going to meet the client. And I walked past these group of lads who were all like in probably like late teenagers, all the hoods up. And they were all kind of like stood on the pavement, and I just walked through them. I didn't really make too much of an effort to walk past them. I just kind of walked through, but not in like an aggressive way. I just kind of ignored them.
Making your way.
Yeah. And then I turned around and came back 10 minutes later, and I walked past them again, and everything was fine. And then 5 seconds later, I just felt my headphones, because they're wireless, like just completely fucking yanked them off, and like they ran, and I was really annoyed. And then I spoke to my client about it, because he's from the area. He's like a local. He's been there all his life. and he said he was like it was a really good idea to not chase them, because last time something like that happened only a few years ago, some guy in exactly the same spot where I got my headphones robbed was selling had a phone case store. So he was selling phone cases for iPhone or whatever. And these kids came, like a similar group of kids, went and robbed the cases and then ran off. And he tried to attack them, right? And then they came back and stabbed him to death. And they killed him. Yeah, they killed
Jesus.
him in that exact spot where it happened to me. So like
that got very dark very quickly.
Yeah, they killed him.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, obviously there are very rough parts of London, and like if you're an idiot like me, walking through there with very, very expensive
and
headphones
unaware of the dangers of where you're at, and I guess
totally just ignorance, really.
Really,
Yeah.
Our West Virginia, where I live, is very it's a smaller state. Well, we think it is. It's very. There's not a lot of big cities. We have the capital, Charleston's a big city, Morgantown's a big city, but not big as in like New York City or anything, or even Pittsburgh. It's small. So we don't really have like hoods. I mean, in the town that I grew up in, there was one, but it wasn't much. It wasn't like a whole area. It was just like a street,
Yeah.
So, you don't go down there. I mean, if you're not in that group of
Yeah.
people, So I think it's everywhere, just got to know where you're at and where you're not supposed to go. And so how about another song? What do you guys think?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Now we were when was I talking to you, Nick, when we were going over the song list? I don't remember.
I don't think we spoke about it.
Because when I saw you and the guy from Confessions doing a live cast on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's where I heard of you guys, and I was like, well, I'm gonna look them up, and because I already had Confessions booked.
Yeah.
And I was playing. Is it Rapacious? Is that how you say it?
Rapacious.
Yeah.
And that's what I was playing as you guys were live streaming. I was like, when I was checking out your stuff, and I was like, this song is awesome. And then whoever I was chatting with, I was like, how about Rapacious? It was like between that and I don't know, another one. So
we were chatting on Instagram. Yeah, it was Rapacious and Buried, I think.
Yeah.
Was the other one, yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, well, yeah, let's just do Rapacious then. So let's play that one.
Cool.
You want to? What does Rapacious even mean? I didn't even look it up or anything.
So I had when we were writing Edification, I had this like kind of desire to use song titles with like words that I didn't like, new words basically. So I'm not some kind of like incredible linguist. I just basically wanted to use like interesting new words, which probably in hindsight I regret, because everyone's always asking what the fuck does that mean. But anyway, rapacious is a word. I think it's a great word. Rapacious is basically it's someone who is indulging or being greedy. Like it's basically another word for greediness. So like you
really
would
repay. Case.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. The song is about kind of my frustration with like how the current system works, and how it's another song moaning about the state of the world basically, and how that we do things to excess, and everything is just money with kind of little respect for any other things, and how like we're all kind of unconsciously just doing things out of ego, really. That's the main concept of the song.
Cool.
So yeah,
let's take a listen to it.
It's all
think what really caught my attention on that when I first listened to that was the snare drum. For some reason, at the beginning, that drum breakdown was just it was awesome. Like that. Good work.
Cheers,
you guys
man.
have a video for that one also?
Sure
Yeah.
do.
So every song have a video off the EP?
Every single.
All the ones we released, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the rest, I think there was 3 songs that we didn't release as a single, and they didn't have a full video that went out with them.
Well, hopefully you won't have to go back to the woods again.
I'd love to, but I don't think it's going to happen. I'd love to do every song in the woods.
Hey, but before I forget, I gotta thank Descendants for being on the show. I ended up doing their show on Friday night. We did that one at 8 o'clock. They're from Pittsburgh. It's more of like their sounds kind of more like a, I guess, cross between like early 80s hair metal and mixed it with a little bit of hardcore. It's metalcore stuff. It's really different. It's good. A couple of them on there were really good to have on. But
That's an interesting combination.
Yeah, we were talking about what they do as an actual job, like 9 to 5 or whatever. And Hank works for a security firm. Where he answers or he calls people. If you break into a house, you have to know the password or whatever. We were talking about that. What do you guys do? Do you guys do like a 9 to 5 job or a regular job other than being in the band?
Unfortunately, until this band pays us, yeah, I'm a web developer. So yeah, been doing that for about 10 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that where you were trying to push when you got robbed?
Yeah. It's pretty much all I know, really. So I'm grateful for it because before being a web developer, I tried other jobs and I just seem to suck at everything. Fortunately, I'm okay with computers, so that's good. Yeah. Otherwise, I'd probably be homeless. So.
Is it your own company?
Yeah, I did have my own company for a number of years, and I still do like freelance stuff with my company. But yeah, I'm actually
you're the man.
Yeah, I'm an employee now though, so I'm like I work for an agency now. So yeah.
Cool. How about you, Aaron?
Yeah, I work in like research and for housing. It's like government housing. So I'm just making sure, I run focus groups and surveys and things. So it's all quite like boring
like
when I talk about
low income kind of housing, or
yeah. So people who get
like assistance or.
Yeah, I guess like a welfare kind of system here. Yeah, they call it social housing, and people on low incomes, they go on like a waiting list, and then they can get allocated a house with low rent. And then we work with them to help improve their lives and get them employed. Offer sort of health and support for them. So yeah, it's a big job, and it's a thankless task sometimes because. A lot of the people you work with are really vulnerable, and a lot of the homes you work with. You think about London. London's a very, very old city, and a lot of our houses are very, very old and falling apart. So it's maintaining them and doing that for pretty low income for us. As an organization, we're charging low rent, so we can't be too flashy or just be throwing money around. So we have to be careful with that. So it's a real juggling act, but it's.
Do you work with the families directly, like the tenants directly, or?
Yeah. I meet with residents, tenants most weeks. So done tons of Zoom calls with them over lockdown, and trying to make their situations better.
Yeah.
So it's good though, but it's challenging.
Personally rewarding, I guess. Just make feeling better about helping somebody.
Yeah, I mean, you think about I could be doing this for like a private real estate company and probably making tons more money, but I feel like there's a bit of social value in there, and you're actually helping people in a sticky situation. So yeah, I enjoy it.
It's hard to find stuff you really like to do. I mean, I really love doing this podcast. Of course, I'm not making money at all. I had to buy a new mixer, and I'm constantly fighting with technology because I don't understand it and how things work, and things are so easy for somebody, but I'm just like, how was that so easy? And I didn't know. But anyway, it's maybe one day, or maybe I can go work for a radio station or something will come up. But it's always good to hear that people are doing something that you'd like to do.
Yeah.
Because not a lot of people have a choice, really. They just if the only skills you have is work at McDonald's, you got to work at McDonald's.
Yeah, I think we're like, I can speak for me and Aaron. Like we're both like very much aware that we've come from a kind of position of privilege. You know what I mean? I think a lot of us have, and it's just about, you just want to try and make the most of that, don't you, really? And as you say, try and do the right thing and help people out who haven't been maybe as fortunate. So much of like a life situation is based on luck when you think about it.
Yeah.
When you think like it's just pure luck that we happen to have been, well, it's pure luck we happen to have been born anyway, but then it's also pure luck that we just happen to have been born in like developed countries as opposed to being born in like a country which is not doing so well. So yeah, I think all three of us are just very fortunate to be living in very prosperous countries, but we have the opportunity to like do things socially
freely, more freely than a lot of people. Yeah, we won't mention that situation that just happened, you know, but that was I don't like doing politics or anything on here, so I did have a good friend of mine was on, and he got really into it, and I just had to interrupt him and say, no, we're not doing
that.
We're very much a non-political band as well.
Way too opinionated, and people get mad at
each
other, and it's just it's not worth it.
We have like a zero politics. We obviously talk about politics because you can't miss it, but like in terms of a band, like we're pretty much like anti-political. Like we don't, not anti, but like we don't write about politics. Like
we're apolitical.
Apolitical, that's the word for it.
Yeah, so we don't kind of talk about it as
you're not for or you're against it. You're just
we just kind of here for sharing.
I mean, I have
our messages too. No. I mean, our messages are quite like in the songs can be fairly environmental, and I think that's obviously a fairly political.
We hear a lot about that thing, was it Meghan Markle or whatever, and the is it Harry?
No songs about them yet, but maybe.
I mean, that's all we hear about, though. That's the only thing we really hear about the UK is nowadays is that, and I don't
because the Americans are obsessed with the royal family. It's bizarre, isn't it? I do not understand the fucking. Sorry, not all of you. Yeah, some Americans have this bizarre fascination with.
I'm not obsessed, but I'm very interested in your all's music scene. I had the very first band I had on from another country was Finland. And that it was just a random, I found them on Facebook and I messaged them and they said, yes, I'll be on. I'm like, really? And yeah, we did it. And, but the Finnish metalcore scene is just crazy.
Yeah.
There's so many bands and they're good. Like, I'm sure there's some crappy ones, but from what I've heard, they're really, really good. And you know, the band that I had on Rats Will Feast, they're really good too.
Yeah.
Kind of describe your all's music scene a little bit over there. What's it, is it big into metalcore? Is it, you know?
Yeah, the scene in London is like it's a kind of appropriate question because it's like after so long being out of the scene, we're actually getting back into it and like we're starting to go to local shows and hanging out with people, and I feel like we're starting to get a pretty good idea of what the London scene is anyway. And there's a lot of metalcore. Metalcore is a extremely popular subgenre over here. There's also a lot of like deathcore as well. I would say like they're the two genres that you see the most, but I would say by some distance metalcore is the most popular subgenre. But I mean, but obviously metalcore I think is quite a kind of blanket statement, and it can mean a whole host of different things. Some people call us metalcore. I'm not sure if we are, but it's something we discuss quite a lot internally. It's like we're not really sure what subgenre we are attributed to in a way, because like we don't really fit in a certain box in that way. Like
genres of metalcore,
exactly,
and there's so many different ones.
Yeah, so but the London scene is I think thriving, and there's lots of extremely good bands. And the one thing that just like kind of astounds me is how many good bands there are that are just not known. Like the standard is so high that you can actually be. I know if I can think of 2 or 3 bands off the top of my head, that bands that are like technically very, very good, like good musicians, good songwriters, but they're unknown, and I think that's for a number of reasons, but probably just because it's so damn competitive.
Or they just caught it at the right time.
Yes, well, I think that absolutely. Right place at the right time is absolutely key, isn't it? For sure. I think also just time, dedication, and lots of bands just struggle financially. We're collectively a bit older than most people in bands are like early 20s, and they're struggling financially a little bit. Probably don't have the money to contribute on regular basis, and like that's one area we're quite strong in, like because we're a little bit older, so we kind of got.
You have good jobs where you can fund your own.
Yeah, I mean we're not swimming in riches, but like we're a little bit more, you know, as I'm sure you know, like as like you get a bit older, you kind of get a bit more better at managing money. So whatever, like it's just as you get older,
I never got any better. I'll be 41 like in a couple of weeks, and I'm still like I was in like middle school. It's horrible.
Yeah, I don't know, like
my wallet right now.
I mean, from my experience, like I got slightly better at it, but I mean, yeah, probably maybe not everyone, but like I think the point I'm trying to make is that I do think that like money is always one of the biggest issues when it comes to stopping a band doing what they want to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big reason why there's so many unknown bands who are like technically brilliant, but just don't have the money, marketing, right?
To get heard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or travel to a different market.
Because like the game's changed so much. Like it used to be, you could kind of play, earn a bit of an income, and then a label could pick you up, and then they kind of handle everything. But now, like labels are becoming less and less relevant in a way.
Well, you can record at home. You know?
Well, essentially, you can do a lot of the stuff on your own. It's just the connections that you miss out. But it's the financial backing that you get from a label that is what people kind of miss out, and they kind of have to self-fund.
We have a band from a southern part of West Virginia that they just signed a Sharptone last year, and I mean they went to a recording studio and all that, but you know, as far as the label, you know, they hired a guy to set up a tour for them. They just played North Carolina last night, and I think they got a couple more. But you know, so that's good, I guess, to hire that separately. But I guess a label would help you with that.
Yeah,
I've never been on a label, so I don't know. Are you guys currently signed to a label?
No.
So you do all of your own stuff then?
We manage the band internally. We have a booking agent who we work with who has those connections with promoters and other bands, and I think that works really well for us because we're all relatively new to the scene. You know, we started the band a couple of years ago, and before that we weren't in the scene at all.
When did you form as a band? And
I guess like officially it was it like 2017, 2018?
Yeah.
We've sort of jammed for a long time together, and like, you know, bringing all the different members in. And then by the time we played our first show, it was probably early 2018.
Yeah.
And then since then, you know, we're starting to think about recording, and we did the EP, which we released in 2019.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of officially when we hit the scene and started playing some good big shows and started building those connections. So yeah, I mean, it's what's that, 4 years, 3 years?
Yeah, like just over 4 years now since we started. But
how did the name After Smoke Clears come up? Was it one person's idea? Was it a collective idea?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
we originally named. We originally had a different name when we first started. We were originally called Cynophus, which is it's like a Latin word. And I saw the expression on your face. You kind of went, "What is that?" And like
an STD.
And it's just
it's syphilis, right?
Yeah. People kept saying syphilis, and it just kind of we just couldn't. We couldn't.
Trying to be serious and do a band, and you can't.
Yeah.
So we then undertook this massive consultation within the band.
What does that word mean? That the name of
it's like a snake.
This is the funny thing as well, right? If you Google Cynophus, right?
I need to know how to spell it before I can Google.
You think if we're a metal band, right? We want to choose like a brutal, aggressive, big snake. This snake is like a fishing, a water snake in Ecuador, only found in Ecuador. It's the most pathetic looking snake you will ever see. Honestly, it's embarrassing. So we had to change it for that reason.
How long were
many other reasons?
How long were you syphilis before you changed it?
Like
over a year.
How long was it?
Cynophus?
Just over a year.
Cynophus?
Yeah, SYNOPHIS.
I have to look that up.
That's do it.
It does sound kind of metal, though. I mean,
it looked metal.
Yeah, it did look metal.
We had all the logos, we had shirts, we had everything, and it was like.
You still have some of that stuff?
Yeah, we've still got some. I still got a shirt.
When you get big, you can sell that. It's like,
Yeah, man.
For a lot.
Yeah, we sold some shirts. There's people with these that got collector's items. Yeah.
Did you know the Confessions guy has a pillow that some guy made a pillow of his face? You guys have one of those?
No.
a pillow of his
You never
face.
saw that? Yeah, like I thought it was
What
a
the
symbol. I
fuck?
thought it was behind him. I thought it was a
Yeah,
symbol.
yeah.
It's a pillow and it has his face on it. It's like that, something like that with his hair and everything.
That's amazing.
But some guy, I guess, just like found the picture on the internet or somewhere and
Yeah.
makes shirts. And he makes pillows. He'll put that face on anything, and he makes
Fucking
a
hell.
killing. He said people come to the shows with that shirt on, and they don't.
I didn't see any last week, but
It's you have to watch that episode. It's on the
Yeah.
thing. It's funny.
cool.
I thought it was a symbol, because the drummer was on there and he had his set behind him and stuff, and I just looked back in the back. But no, what I saw was his face on the pillow, so he just picks it up and puts it. I was like, okay, whatever.
Weird.
So where did the After Smoke Clears? How did that come up? How did you land on that?
Yeah. So like when we wanted to change the name, we decided we were all gonna like all five of us at the time. We were gonna go away and like brainstorm some names and then bring them to the
And you
table.
went to
So
Peru and did psychedelics.
this was shortly after that.
Okay.
Shortly after that, yeah. Yeah, I probably done other psychedelics near that time, which may or may not have contributed to it. But yeah, but my ideas were shit, so obviously they weren't very good. But anyway, we all brought a few ideas to the table, and then we met up in Costa Coffee in Brixton, and we like had a chat and had like a meeting to discuss what the name was going to be.
It was a long
Yeah,
meeting.
it was a long meeting, wasn't it? It was at least 3 hours,
Arguments.
at least 2 hours, maybe 3 hours.
Fisticuffs and all that.
Yeah, so
It was
yeah,
just
basically,
like
yeah.
trying to find something, because thinking of a name is so complicated.
It
Yeah.
is.
Like,
And something
because-
that's not taken already.
Well, yeah, that's the first thing.
Yeah.
You got to get
Yeah.
something that's not taken, something that's meaningful,
Mm.
something, and we learnt this from the first band name, is something that you can say and someone will get immediately, and they could spell it and find it
Easy.
online,
Yeah,
and not like need you to write it down or something.
Even if
like,
they don't remember the whole thing, some of
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Just so like simple but not taken, but meaningful. And we had the kind of story that we came up with this one, because it was like we envisioned we were kind of burning away the old name, the old brand, and it was like a new kind of thing rising from the ashes after the smoke clears, like after the fire kind of cleanses the earth, or the ground, new life can grow. And that was where this kind of came through, and that was almost like we kind of ran with that into the album, that kind of ethos of like in the environment and destruction and rebirth and the kind of cycle that went through it. So it kind of worked out for us in the end that we did change and have that massive talk.
Since we're on the subject of things you can't pronounce very good, is it fuoco?
Fuoco.
I know it's fire. Is it fire in Italian? I think
That's it. Yeah.
Nice. Did you know that already?
No, I looked it up.
Yeah.
I had to keep lking down at the phone to make sure I was spelling it right.
Yeah.
But I was going to go ahead and play that one. Since we're good on time for a little bit here, but I was going to go ahead and play that one since we're on that subject of things that are hard to pronounce. How did you land on that? On that name? And
so like half of our band is Italian. So Dave and Ali, who aren't here today, they are Dave's from Sardinia, which is like an island to the on the west coast, I think. And Ali is from Milan, so they're both Italian. So and actually Aaron wrote this song, so I don't even know why I'm talking about it. But Aaron basically wrote the whole song, and this was actually interestingly, was the working title of the song. And normally, like, it will change, but obviously Aaron had that idea, and I just think it really resonated with me as well. And we thought the extra cool part is the fact that like it's almost like a homage to the guys, like, because we are half Italian. So I just thought it worked really well, and it's a song all about the creative fire. So that obviously is appropriate as well. So it's the name just worked really for that reason.
And plus, you get to tell that story.
Yeah.
Do you guys talk a lot on the microphone before you play a song, or do you tend to go from one song? I mean, just I guess a little bit, right? But
I wouldn't say I do the talking. I wouldn't say I'm a big talker. I wouldn't say I ramble on too much. There's a little bit of dialogue, but I wouldn't say it's because we don't get normally the sets are only half an hour, so there's not a huge amount of time for discussion. But I do like to try and say a few things for sure.
Yeah. Cool. Let's take. How do you say it?
Fuoco.
Waco. Let's take a listen to it. hard to nod my head to that song because of the changes. I'm sure it's the same tempo throughout, but it's
it's time signature changes.
I like that. I like that though.
It's something we try and sprinkle in fairly often in our tracks, just like change up some of the riffs. Because I think with that song, like the riffs are quite simple, really, if you kind of boil them down, but to make them kind of interesting, we go through like a process of, you know, adding polyrhythms, and, you know, when we add the drums, we don't just kind of do the easy, you know, snare, you know, whatever it is, and we try and kind of think outside the box on arrangements and time signatures. So, you know, even all of the songs in the album, the songs we release now, there's always an element of kind of 4/4 time and standard time, and then it will change into like a 6/4. You know, the riff at the end is a different. It's basically the same riff, but it's been cut into another time signature at the end.
So if you're going like this, you can't do that anymore because it's not going to work.
Yeah, it loops around, and if you keep doing it, you'll get back into it, because it's
well, it has to, I guess it would have to.
Yeah. So it's those kind of like small little like technicalities in it that make it unique and interesting.
I'm sure you guys have listened to Tool.
Very much, yeah. Heavily influenced by Tool.
Was it Lateralis? It's based off the Fibonacci sequence or whatever.
Yeah.
Would you be able to pull off something like that?
I mean, the Rapacious song that you played earlier, that was kind of a Tool inspired track when it was written initially. But yeah, definitely would be, you know, we're looking to get more kind of ambience and stuff into our music and extend our songs. But I think with a band like Tool, you know, people know what they're getting into with Tool. They know what to expect. They've got a huge fan base already, and we find that because we're still kind of at the start of our career in this band, we don't have a lot of time when a person's listening to us to catch their attention and to kind of bring them on board with us. And writing kind of these kind of really like interesting, long, progressive songs, whilst it could be amazing, if someone's not engaged immediately, they'll just switch off. So we kind of have to have a balance. And it's a real challenge.
Yeah. But I think you're doing the right thing though, you know, with the you know, the polyrhythms you're talking about and changing the tempo. I love it because, you know, like I said, you know, you sit there and you're bebopping the song, and it would get repetitive after a while, but then all of a sudden your head bouncing is not going with tempo anymore. But it comes back to it because it you know, musically it has to, I guess. But, that's what really caught my attention when I was listening to you guys. We have a little bit of time left. I just booked the show for Tuesday about 5 minutes before I logged into Zoom, and I had a guy on a few weeks ago. You might have seen him on Instagram. He goes by Shockwire. And he's gone viral. He's got, I think when he was on the show, he had like 15,000 followers. Overnight, he got like 20,000. Now he's up there. He does these short little skits. It's just him. He's a badass guitar player. He's got some songs up. You can get them on Spotify and Apple and stuff. And they're really, you know, they're really good. So I didn't even think he'd be on. I didn't even think he'd answer my message, but he did, and he came on the show. Well, I was kind of looking at his stuff, and I came across this guy named Nolan Brennan is his name, and he is a badass guitar player too, and he does a little bit of skit kind of stuff. And I was like, I'm just gonna ask him. So he's gonna come on Tuesday, and I think Shockwire is gonna jump in and join us too.
Awesome.
So that'll be Tuesday. I believe at 8:00 is what we settled on. So that's Tuesday. And then I got some bands lined up for Beyond That. So kind of stick around to the to the areas that Facebook and all that crap. Anyway, I do want to play Buried though. Or we haven't even played Obsessed yet, have we?
We've been yapping for too long.
We have time for one, so it's your choice.
Oh,
it's got to be Obsessed, isn't it?
It's got to be Obsessed, I think, doesn't it? I don't know.
Let's do it.
You want to do Obsessed?
Yeah.
Is it about being obsessed?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, pretty much. You got it. Yeah, it's about like my personal account of having like very obsessive thoughts and how that can be both good and bad. And like, so the positive aspects of having like an addictive personality and the downsides as well. So it's just an exploration, really, of not even exploration, but more an account of like my mental health, really, and the good and the bad. So that's what it's about. Yeah.
Let's take a listen. This is the newest one, I guess, and there's a video as well, correct?
Yeah, sure is.
Yep.
Cool. All right, here's Obsessed by After Smoke Clears.
to focus on.
fantastic.
Cheers.
Epic.
What a great
Epic.
song. Who plays the keys at the end?
Yeah,
Where's
it's programmed in. So I played it on the, I used the software to program it all in, and then we run it through the backing track when we play live.
Yeah, that's a really good idea at the end of that. Just kind of, is it kind of a depressing song?
What do you mean, like from a lyrical perspective?
Yeah, I didn't really look up the lyrics, but just
yeah,
the mood I was getting from it.
Yeah,
I mean, if there's a video for this one as well, which is quite like manic, and it's I think it is the chords are quite minor, and the progression is like that really that semitone
kind of
vibe. It's and the pacing and the piano just adds like that whole layer of darkness at the end.
It's still fantastic though. I'm not putting it down one bit. It's a great song.
Thanks a lot.
All your stuff is very terrific. I appreciate you guys coming on the show.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having us.
Being a part of this. My the second band in the UK that I've had on. So that's cool.
Hopefully many more for you.
And you guys were episode 55. I don't know if that's a milestone or not, but to me, every episode's a milestone.
Nice.
I didn't think I was going to get past like 10. So I had a big cast at 10. I think I had the first guy, the guy I had on the first episode was my buddy down in Nashville. I had him on for the 10th episode, thinking that was going to be it. No, it wasn't.
Nice. No, I'm glad it's going well for you.
I appreciate you guys being a part of it. I'm grateful to have you guys on the show.
I think I'm actually getting kicked out of the hotel at just the right time as well.
Tom, you're almost done.
Yeah.
No, I usually do the marquee change at the end, but I figured I'd get started on it. But I was going to go ahead and play one of Nolan's tracks he's got up on Apple. It's called Crystallized Power. I usually have the guests kind of say, stay tuned for the next episode. Who wants to do it? I'll tell you what to say.
I can do it.
Okay, just say the Keep Mania Live on Tuesday at 8:00 Eastern with Nolan Brennan, something like that. Whatever you want to say.
Say it again.
Like, subscribe, and share, and all that stuff too. Nolan Brennan, this Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern on Acute Mania Live, or whatever else you want to say.
Nolan Brennan this Tuesday at 7 p.m. ET.
8 p.m.
Sorry, Nolan Brennan this Tuesday at 8 p.m. on Acute Mania Live.
Yes. Thank you guys so much. Hey, stick around a little bit after I kill the feed, so I can chat with you for a second, if you don't mind. Nice. If you can hang out in the room.
Yeah, I'll try.
Cool. Thanks for being on, guys.
Pleasure.
I'll see everybody else on Tuesday. Here's Nolan with Chris.
evil and negative. I'll bring that to light. Another slaughter, no, not tonight.